Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try and find the silver linings in even the worst of films. Guys, I don't normally do streaming movies, but I just watched one on, I believe it was Amazon, and that was called The Wrecking Crew, and it stars Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa, and I just felt compelled to do a review about this movie because it's not often you get a good action flick. Essentially, in this film, Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista play estranged stepbrothers that kind of had a falling out years prior when they were younger men, and when their father is brutally murdered and left for dead in the street, they are forced to come back together and figure out who killed their father and why, and chaos ensues. And guys, this isn't Shakespeare. It's not The Pursuit of Happiness or The Shawshank Redemption or Schindler's List. It is not reinventing the wheel, but what it is doing is giving us a vehicle to get Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa together to kill a bunch of bad guys in very stylish ways. This is from the same crew that did the John Wick movies, and with that being said, you could expect some of the best choreographed action that you see in cinema today. But that's not what makes this movie so good. What makes this movie so good is the chemistry between Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista. At the end of the day, they're really just playing caricatures of themselves. Jason Momoa is just playing Jason Momoa, and Dave Bautista is just playing a much more serious version of Dave Bautista. They don't really stretch their legs a lot in terms of playing these drastically new characters that they've never played before, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You want to see Dave Bautista be this brute force of a guy that's, the more serious of the two, and Jason Momoa is playing this more flamboyant, loves to chug his beers in between a fight scene kind of guy, and he's just like this Hawaiian hoorah kind of character and everything, and it works. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's the same thing that The Rock did for essentially 20 years. It's the same thing that Kevin Hart's done for a bunch of years. It's the same thing that Jack Black's done for a long time. They find this niche that people really love them in, kind of like Ryan Reynolds playing the Ryan Reynolds-like character, and they just keep doing it, and people love them for that, and it just works so good here as a contrast. You have the hard-hitting, serious detective, and then you have the really over-the-top, ridiculous one, and it just makes for a really good time. And that's not to say they don't get the chance to really shine with their acting chops. There's a scene in this movie where Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa have to throw down against each other because they kind of come to a head where they need to fight over the thing that happened in their past that separated them, and they both get a chance to show a little bit of dramatic chops, and it's the first time I think I've ever seen Jason Momoa act severely depressed before, and I was really taken back by it actually, because I've never seen it before, and I didn't really know he had it in him, which is crazy to think because he's an actor for a reason. He's not just good at one thing, it's just he keeps getting pigeonholed in this one role. Not that I'm upset about it, because I love seeing him do roles like this, but I just wasn't expecting it, and it kind of hit me hard in the feels, I'm not gonna lie. The chemistry between the two of them is electric. It's absolute perfection. It's like they've been best friends since they were 5 years old, and you're seeing that translate onto the screen. It makes for some really funny one-liners between the two of them when they're talking shit to each other. Marina Baccarin is in this movie. She was in Gotham. She was also the love interest in Deadpool for Deadpool. She's not in the movie a lot, but when she is in it, she is effective, and she goes toe-to-toe with Jason Momoa's character because she is his ex-lover, so she has to be kind of just as hard-edged as he is, and it's really fun to see her take on a role like that when usually she's playing like the pretty girl or like the straight girl. Here she's playing kind of a badass, and it's pretty awesome. But at the end of the day, the star of this movie, first and foremost, is in fact the action. The action is front and center here, and it is done really well. It's unique enough that you don't feel like you've seen it before, and they also do something that I absolutely loved, and that was pay homage to one of the greatest fight scenes in cinema history, and that's Oldboy. There's a scene at the end where Dave Bautista finally gets to kind of let loose. The whole time Jason Momoa is really front and center with the action. He's going around, he's beating up bad guys, he is like the hard-hitting detective that has nothing to lose, so he's going into places and just beating guys up, and Dave Bautista is kind of the guy he's more reserved. He's not a cop the way that Jason Momoa is. He is a military person, so he has a lot more restraint and discipline and doesn't just go into the places that he goes into guns blazing. But at the end, the director decided to give him a moment to finally shine and have the best fight scene of the entire film, and that's an homage to Oldboy, which if you haven't seen it, here's a clip from the fight scene of that movie. And as you could see, the whole fight is done in a one take, and they do that in this movie, and it's done so well and so brutal, and it was so much fun, and you could tell the love the director had for Oldboy just getting poured into this film. And you don't really see these one take fight scenes told in a side-scrolling point of view the way that Oldboy does. You see a lot of one take fight scenes, specifically in John Wick, but they always get really creative with the shots, whether it be top down or the camera's moving in and out of the action. Here they just let the whole thing play out, which is really hard to do from a choreography standpoint, and blocking where you still need to make it look real even though the camera can't move. And I was just really impressed with it. The action alone in this movie made it worth the watch. But then you couple that with the great chemistry between the cast, some genuinely funny jokes, and just having a blast watching Jason Momoa be Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista be Dave Bautista. It's a recipe for success. The movie's not perfect. There's plot holes galore. There's things happening in this movie that just make absolutely no sense. There's a lot of logic problems. There's an entire helicopter chase sequence in this movie where they are outrunning a helicopter that is trying to mow them down on a highway. And during this chase sequence, every single person in a car around them literally dies. The cars blow up, fly off the highway. There is a lot of casualties during this chase, and after the chase happens, it's never talked about again. The cops never come and go like, hey, you guys are under arrest for leading a chase on a highway that killed 400 people. You never see the people in the news about how all those lives were lost. The mayor doesn't come after them. Like, there's just absolutely no ramifications for it. So there are logic problems like that, but I never go into a movie like this looking for that kind of thing. Is it lazy? Yes. Is it bad writing? Yes. Would I love to see an action movie that ties up all loose ends like that? Yeah, it's called John Wick. They do a pretty good job at it. But when I go in expecting just good action and good comedy, and they deliver in spades in that aspect, and they perfect that part of it, it's hard to look back and go, this is a bad movie, because it's really not. It has flaws, yes, but it is a wildly entertaining time. And if you like them as actors, and you like the old school movies like Bad Boys or Lethal Weapon, where it's like good cop, bad cop, you're gonna love this movie just like I did. And I hate that it was a streaming movie and not in theaters, because movies like this, where you have moments of Jason Momoa taking a cheese grater and literally slicing the skin off of a Yakuza bad guy, those are moments that you cringe and you want to be surrounded by an entire audience of people all going wild watching it together. That old boy scene, I was literally yelling at the TV because I was so excited it was happening, and I know that my friends that also watched it on their own at home were also going crazy about it because we all watched Old Boy back in the day together. It just would have felt great seeing that in a theater with a crowded room and everyone losing their minds when that was happening. Movies like this need to be seen on the big screen. So as much as I loved watching it at home with my dog, I definitely would have preferred it in the theater. But at the end of the day, guys, I had a really good time with this movie. Flawed, yes, but a good movie nonetheless. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's definitely worth your time if you're into this kind of thing. But let me know what you guys think. Have you seen this movie yet? Has my review swayed your opinion on whether or not you want to see it? I'd love to talk about it in the comments down below. And as always, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time.